Okay, I know we're all kind of tired of the snow and we're kind of tired of hearing, but we need the moisture, right? But all that moisture may be good for our lawns, but it is not good if it is seeping into your home. Jeff Kelley is an attorney with Harding and Associates. He's here on the first Friday of every month. We're used to seeing Phil Harding here a lot, but Jeff, it's so good to have you back. It's cool that each of you bring something new to our viewers every other Friday. And today we're talking about mold because it really can be a problem, especially if you don't even know it's existing in your home, right?
Yes, that's really the problem.
Yeah.
Is that the mold, airborne spores can be present and you don't know it. You can be breathing them and just not be aware of it.
So what are you supposed to do if you don't see it, you don't smell it, how do you even know initially that you've got it?
Well, you can see some signs, telltale signs. There might have been maybe a sewer backup or some kind of water penetration into the home, such maybe a roof leak or some kind of a hidden water leak, and then suddenly there might be some symptoms of it in the home as far as the health of the family and what how they're feeling, coughing, wheezing, and just not really any reason for it.
Mm-hmm. Now, some of the obvious things, if you have a flood in your home and you see things that are starting to grow, and we're seeing many examples of pretty harsh molds.
Right.
I mean, these are pretty extreme cases, right?
That is true. However, even in a less than obvious sign, such as the photos that the viewers are seeing right now, that type of a hidden or less obvious mold condition could still render the property dangerous and harmful medically.
Yeah, and I would imagine, the danger, it can come from a regular kind of flood, or especially if it's like some sort of sewer backup. That seems incredibly toxic.
Yes, and that has additional problems beyond mold. But when you have that kind of a situation, a really good way to deal with that is to bring in an environmental engineer.
Okay.
And that person can conduct the mold remediation process to where they can sample the interior of the home and the exterior so they can develop a protocol on how to mitigate the damage and make the home safe again.
So this is an environmental engineer. People like this actually exist for you to call, and they come and basically do research in your home.
Yes, and
testing.
A qualified contractor that does mold remediation will oftentimes reach out to and use an environmental engineer to develop that protocol for not only repairs, but testing after the repairs have been done to make sure that the spore levels have reduced to an acceptable and not harmful level.
All right. Now, when you're talking about, how harmful the levels are, they can really run the gamut from just making you sick and allergy-ridden to, some people need to go to the hospital, right?
Yes. In fact, that's when people by the time they come to our office, they may have already reached that stage and they've been diagnosed with some kind of mold contamination. And then we go back and see what events occurred in that home to see where they could have been exposed to mold, and then work toward diagnosing what could have happened in that environment to have harmed them.
All right. Now, what if someone, they've already got a pre-existing problem, maybe like asthma, and these mold conditions can really exacerbate that. They clearly have, the pre-existing, but how can you, as an attorney, help these people, mitigate some of the new problems that come from mold issues?
Well, that certainly would be a medical response that they would be looking to with their doctor, and the doctor would be telling them how they're going to need to treat that. What we can do is, if there has been a faulty mold remediation effort, then we would look to the entity that carried out that mold remediation and did not do it properly.
Okay.
And see how they tested, if they cleared the property, if they had an engineer involved, or did they just go in and replace new drywall without using the chemicals needed to stop the mold growth, or replaced carpet without having installed dehumidifiers and actually reduced any kind of airborne spore content
Yeah.
with testing. Once
Yeah.
again, testing and engineering is really the key to it.
Yeah, doing it properly is the key, obviously. Now, I would think that, in a lot of landlord-tenant situations, as the tenant, you want to feel like the landlord is doing everything that they can to mitigate the issue. But what, is this something that you can help with? If maybe as a tenant, I feel like, okay, they haven't done this properly, what can you do to help me to make them do it the right way, to go back?
Well, what we would do is we would open a claim and we would get in touch with the insurance carrier for that townhome facility or condominium complex or management company.
Or apartment or a rental house. I mean, I just can imagine all of the examples that this could apply to.
We do see a lot of times that there's been backups due to tree roots. You've heard of that in sewage pipes. And the mitigation just wasn't carried out properly. And the tenant and the rental unit has mold contents in there, evidence of mold, and we would make a claim for that person with the insurance company.
All right, so this is something that you can help people with. This is why Jeff and Phil Harding come on the show. They want you to know the information. They want you to know how to get help. Now, if you have any legal questions for Jeff or Phil Harding, they would love to hear from you. You can go to coloradosbest.tv. That's our website. Look for Phil's photo there. Click on it. And they take the time to answer each of your questions personally. They take them very seriously, and often they address the issues right here on Colorado's Best. Now, to contact Harding & Associates directly, here's the number, 303-762-9500, or you can go online to hlaw.org.